this is coming out from where the amphitheater was, and you get to see what is basically used to be a walled city of some sort. Here's where the main gate was, and then again I'll pan around and show you. So these walled cities to protect against pirates and marauders and invading armies. My guess is, if I had to guess, is this looks like Byzantine Empire era walls. I could be wrong on that. There's a sign down here, maybe it tells us, I don't know. But from what I had studied back in history, let's see. So apparently, yes, it was. They were built during the Byzantine Empire, 491 to 518. So I can't believe that I friggin' remembered that. But I was right. Oh my God. So I was a history major in college. Apparently it paid off a little bit here. So leaving outside of here, you've got this neat little park with little flower trees on it. And one of the coolest things about being in Albania is that everywhere you go, they advertise their shit. There's signs everywhere for shit. Sometimes there's signs for shit jerry, shit jet, shit jerry. And I know what you're saying. You're saying Laway, it means for sale or for lease. But hey, in my mind, it's still shitet. All right, I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and then hopefully the sun will peek out a little bit and we can get a little bit more of Durres on film. See, I can't even make it to lunch before I run into more stuff that I have to show you guys here. So here, part of the walled city, back behind me right there. I'll show you a little bit better. You've got the watchtower where they would go and put their bows and arrows to shoot out of their slits, go up on the roof to throw things at the enemy as they came in. The wall just continues. All the way down. It's amazing that so much of this has been preserved. I mean, we're standing in a place that, you know, was built according to that in 491 AD in the Byzantine Empire. And in the United States, heck, in all of the Americas, we were over 1,000 years away from even having any white people there, Europeans. We were dealing with pre-Mayan civilizations at that point. So in North America, in the United States, you have nothing that goes back this far in history. And here, everywhere you go around the block, there's some sort of history. Like right here, even in the modern era, right across the street from this walled city. Is this incredible, more modern building on there. And as I walk along, they've got iron supports supporting some of the walls here now to prevent them from crumbling and decaying. They're really working on the preservation efforts, which is good to see. It's good to see that somebody's expending resources to make sure that this is here for future generations. And you can see from here that this is right near the sea and right across from the college. The college is right next door. The ocean, you've got a view where in ancient times this walled city would be able to see out from here over to the beach. These buildings wouldn't have been here, would have been outlying villages. They could have closed off the walls and then prepared for a siege and to defend themselves and to use force multipliers to defend against any invading army or pirates or marauders. Okay, now I'm going to try to go to lunch if I don't get distracted again. what really amazes me about these walled cities, these Byzantium walls, the Byzantine Empire's walled city of Durres, is what if you were an invader? What if you were someone who was trying to attack this walled city, and you come up to the walls, and we're talking, this is before the age of gunpowder. This is bows and arrows and spears, and you come to these incredibly tall walls. And what are you going to do? You're going to use siege engines and ladders. It's going to take a force of 3 to 5 times the amount of attackers to even make a dent in these structures, even with siege engines on there. Even if you breach the walls at one point, going in, you're going to be into a chokehold situation. It's coming and standing underneath them, rather than simply reading about them in a history class. It's really quite intimidating if you're thinking about how you overcome this, how you invade, how you try to take one of these walled cities. And the fact of the matter is most of the sieges in antiquity, even in the Middle Ages, they didn't win by storming the castle walls most of the time or overtaking the city. Usually how sieges were won in antiquity, in the Middle Ages, was through subterfuge, through espionage, through getting a traitor inside to open a gate or something, and then sneaking in the middle of the night and opening the main gate so that you could breach the walls and take out the defenders while they were still asleep, get your people inside. On there. Then their force multipliers that they had inside them were no longer as effective. But sitting here at the base of one of these ancient walled cities and thinking about if you were some sort of barbarian wanting to take the cities, you see how intimidating it was, and why Rome and then later the Byzantine Empire really were the center of the world as far as culture and civilization, and everything outside the walls and outside the empires was nasty and brutal, and life was short-lived. Another watchtower, and again, even more intimidating than the first one when you look up at this, what you would be facing down if you were an invader or an attacker. And what kind of confidence would it give you as a defender in the city, knowing that you were so far above this? Massive walls to have been built before electricity, before they had modern inventions. They were able to build these things high up into the sky to defend against, to make themselves secure. And as we go down from here, I'm seeing another structure, which is like a turret or a round castle, but it, to me, seems like it's much more modern construction than what we're seeing here with these Byzantium walls on there. I can see it in the distance, and that is decidedly looking more Middle Ages. That's much more recent. I'll go down there and see if I can find out what it is, but definitely not part of this original walled city complex, something that was built after the fact for some other purpose. Oh, and wait, we've got some sort of a monument out here. Unfortunately, it's all in Albanian, so I don't know what it means. Alright, so I've come down to this tower structure that I had pointed out earlier, and it is definitely not from the same period of the Byzantium architecture that we're seeing there. This was built during the age of gunpowder. You can tell by the architecture on here. My guess is this was much later. Perhaps during the Venetian period. They conquered a lot of the Adriatic areas, incorporated it into their city-state. But This tower would have had defile over the beach area coming in right over there where the ocean is, the Adriatic Sea. And given the curvature of it, given the turrets at the top, yeah, this I'm guessing definitely 1500s or later, 1400s, 1300s. I don't know. I'm gonna do some research on it and we'll find out. If you know, go ahead and plug it in. But this is looking more like stuff I would see in medieval Italy. In the northern region around Venice. Yeah, curious to know, but definitely not part of that structure there. And then finally, as you go across where this structure is compared to the old structure and it merges, there's a neat little gateway staircase that goes through, which is yeah, hopefully you can see all of that. Take another picture of it out from in the square from a distance where you can see that in the walls as well. All right. One sad thing to see here in this wonderful historic city of Durres is the infiltration of the Americanos. My God, they have a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, I guess we could try some authentic Kentucky Fried Chicken Albania food, and I can finally have my lunch. Here, right across from the walled city of Durres, you have the Adriatic Sea. You can just imagine across that sea that many miles away is Italy. And what was once the Roman Empire crossing that sea, coming to Durres, conquering it, demanding tribute, creating a province here that they could squeeze the resources out of. It's really been the history of Albania and Durres, that it's always been at the crossroads of different empires. The Roman Empire came and sacked and conquered. Then you had the Byzantine Empire taking over from the Romans. They were really just Romans and the eastern band of the Roman Empire. Then the Ottoman Empire. So Albania has always been at this crossroads to where it was valuable territorially, not necessarily because of the resources that it had, but because its position on the Adriatic Sea is this gateway between the western part of Europe and the eastern part of Europe and the eastern possessions of the Roman Empire. It became a very important trade route, and as that, it had a target on its back. All right, finally going to be able to eat my lunch. I ordered. You crazy people really thought I was going to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and be a normal American. Of course I'm not going to do that. Instead, I went to the Wild West, where we get authentic Mexican Albanian food. And I've ordered the enchiladas. My wife's ordered the nachos. We're going to try. This is actually a really cool place, though. And it's got all these neat little wooden chairs, and it's got it's got the saloon doors on it. It's a really neat place. And if I were doing my redneck market hunt, it would have fulfilled one of my criteria, which is finding a Confederate paddle flag. No, where you go, no matter where you go in the world, you can't escape. Anyway, food looks really good. The menu's great. This is just off of the boardwalk there. Looks like a really cool restaurant. I'll let y'all know how it is.